Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Ku Lee. I'm the Director of Targeted Outreach at the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Thank you for joining the webinar. We're going to get started right here in just a minute, but I know we're right at 1 o'clock. I'm going to give everyone a little bit of time to get logged in and join. So let's give everyone about 2 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to start a poll. We want to know, are you a returning viewer, returning visitor, if you've been to one of our webinars before. So please, if you get a chance, again, as we wait for everyone to get logged in, please feel free to complete this poll for us. Your response is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that poll. Again, thank you everyone for joining. And please thank you for taking the poll for us. Your responses actually help us a lot. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Cooley. I'm the Targeted Outreach Director for the California Department of Financial Protection Innovation. Today on our educational webinar, we're going to be talking about how to protect yourself from rental and real estate scams. We do have a very special guest speaker, Anthony Vo, who is the Supervising Special Investigator 1 from the California Department of Real Estate. With that, we're going to just jump right in. Just a really quick disclaimer from us, a little bit of housekeeping. For this webinar, your cameras and microphones have been turned off, but please use the Zoom's Q&A feature to submit your questions. We do have a dedicated time at the very end to answer any questions that you do submit to us. The views and opinions expressed in this presentation are those of the presenters. They do not necessarily reflect the views or the positions of the DFPI. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. This is not legal or financial advice. And if you do have questions, please feel free to email it to my team. Our email address is outreach@dfpi.ca.gov. And also, as a note, this webinar is being recorded and we will be publishing it to our YouTube channel. And after the webinar, I will be sending everyone who registered for the webinar a link to the webinar recording, as well as a copy of the slides. Okay, with that, I do want to quickly just talk about the DFPI. Who are we? What do we do? What is our role? The DFPI is California's financial regulator. Our purpose is to maintain a fair, healthy, and trusted financial marketplace for all Californians. We do this through regulation enforcement of a variety of financial services, products, and professionals in the state of California. And of course, we provide a lot of free presentations throughout California to help inform consumers and to help prevent them from fraud and scams. For more information, we do have a dedicated section on our website where we publish news articles, consumer alerts, a list of all the other events that we do. And that link is dfpi.ca.gov/consumers. Okay, with that, again, I'd like to welcome our very special guest speaker, Anthony Vo. He is a supervising special investigator with the Department of Real Estate, the California Department of Real Estate. So, Anthony, please take it away. Oh, you're muted, Anthony.
Oh, sorry about that. On behalf of the DRE, I would like to thank Q and the DFPI for inviting us here to this special event to provide information to our audience here, an overview of the DRE and information about red flags and avoidance tips with deed and title fraud, as well as other real estate fraud. Next slide, please. This will be agenda for today. Next slide, please. DRE's mission is to safeguard and promote the public interest in real estate matters through licensure, regulation, education, and enforcement. There's a section code that's pertaining to protection of the public, and here, this one, you can see that this is our highest priority, is protection of the public. Next slide, please. Who we are. We are a licensing agency consisting of the following sections: licensing, enforcement, which is where I work out of, audit, subdivision, and legal. And we have 5 district offices in California. San Diego, Los Angeles is where I work out of, Fresno, Oakland, and Sacramento. Next slide, please. So the type of licenses that we issue are broker and salesperson. A broker can choose to do business as an individual or corporation. We also do have mortgage loan originator, which is called typically known as MLO endorsement. Please note that for real estate brokers and salespersons who want to perform residential mortgage loan activities, they are required to obtain an MLO endorsement, which would be obtained through the nationwide multi-state licensing system, usually called NMLS, and the DRE uses the NMLS to manage all MLO license endorsements. Next slide, please. The enforcement section at the DRE, this is our primary responsibilities are enforcing real estate law and Subdivided Lands Act, conducting investigations of licensees, unlicensed persons, and applicants. Next slide, please. Please note that information provided during this presentation, especially with information on deed and title, do not constitute legal advice, as it is being provided as general information, which you can search the information with other sources such as the internet. So the definition of a deed is a physical legal document used to transfer ownership of a property. A title is not a document, but rather the legal rights of ownership to a property. In California, property ownership is most commonly transferred using a grant deed, which transfers ownership and legally grants the property to the new buyer, although there are other types of deeds. Quitclaim deed is for one, but the grant deed is most common for sales. Next slide, please. Deed and title frauds are a growing concern, particularly in California's more populated areas. Scammers forge deeds and use fake identities to transfer ownership of properties. Once a property is in the fraudster's name, they may sell it or take out a loan against the property, leaving the original owner unaware until it's too late. Here are some tips for avoiding deed and title fraud, which is covered in the consumer alert on our website. It's dated November 3rd, 2025, titled DRE Urges California Consumers to be Aware of Real Estate and Mortgage Crimes. And later I can show you how to obtain that information from the consumer alert page. So here are some tips for avoiding deed and title fraud. Regularly monitor your property records for unauthorized transfers or changes. If your county recorder's office has a deed notification program, sign up to receive notices. If you receive any unusual or unsolicited documents, consult with a title company or attorney before taking action or any action. Consider purchasing title insurance, especially for properties in high-risk areas. And if someone contacts you asking to transfer ownership of your property, verify their legitimacy. I'm going to elaborate a few items here. As to how to monitor your property records, contact the recorder's office of the county where you live in and to determine how you can view your property record, either online, in person, or by phone. As far as regarding the purchasing of title insurance, which usually you already have title insurance when you purchase your property, because normally the lender will require a title insurance policy as a condition of the loan, which an escrow company would have worked with the lender and you as a buyer regarding this. Last, if you believe you are a victim, then you should file a report with your local police department, sheriff's department, and or the district attorney's office of the county you live in. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Anthony. So I do want to add a little bit information here. California Senate Bill 255 was recently passed and signed into law. This legislation, it's a new piece of legislation. It requires every California county by January 2027, that's next year, to operate a property fraud notification program. So that's for each California county. Right now, there's only a few, I wouldn't say a handful of California counties, the assessor offices that offer such a program. This new law that's been signed is going to take effect next year. And it, again, it's making every county responsible and requires them to create their own notification program. You can read more. I've added some links here. And again, these slides will be made available to you after the webinar. You can read more about it. And if it's not available, again, some notification program is not available in your county, you just have to wait, or even contact your county assessor and ask him, when will it be available and how can you sign up to protect yourself? So, yep, back to you, Anthony. Just want to share this upcoming information for consumers to help protect themselves.
That's great information, Q. I did research on that, and you said exactly what it's saying. It's a protection for the homeowners. Okay, so my apology. Okay.
Yep, you're good. Warning signs of deed and title fraud.
Okay. So there are some warning signs of real estate fraud. As I'm going to read off some of this information, it's important to kind of pay attention to what it is and kind of internalize information, and that way you can better prevent yourself from being a victim. You receive official documents indicating a transfer of property, and you have no knowledge of the transaction. You did not receive a property tax bill. This can be the first sign of fraud, as a fraudster may have changed the billing address. You receive notice of default, foreclosure notices, or mortgage documents or payment books for loans for which you had never applied for. If you own a vacant or paid off home, neighbors report strangers touring the property, claiming they are new owners or tenants. If you believe you are a victim, then you should file a report with your local police department, sheriff's department, and or the district attorney's office, the county you live in. Next slide, please. California real estate market presents a number of risks to consumers, but with due diligence, research, and professional assistance, you can protect yourself from falling victim to these common frauds. Always trust your instincts and seek advice from trusted professionals before making any major final decisions. Next slide, please. These are additional real estate fraud avoidance tips. Whether you are thinking about buying, selling, or renting, the DRE would like to remind you the following. Be vigilant, diligent, and suspicious, and proceed very cautiously when contacted by strangers. Use only licensed professionals when engaging the services of people or companies offering rental, home loan, foreclosure rescue, or other real estate services on your behalf. Check the license information from the DRE's website at www.dre.ca.gov, and their website from the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation at www.dfpi.ca.gov. Now, never pay in cash or wire cash to anyone in connection with real estate transactions. Also, be certain to protect your personal information, such as social security number, so scammers cannot steal your identity. Never pay anyone for home loans or foreclosure relief services in advance of successfully completing the work you wanted them to do for you. So, red flag. Someone asks you to pay in advance, as a red flag. That's something you should pay attention to. Next slide, please. Never sign an agreement for a real estate transaction, including a rental or home loan that you cannot afford. Never sign a real estate, including rental or home loan agreement that you do not understand or have not read, or which contain blank spaces. Anyone, including scammers without an appropriate or legitimate California license, can advertise on television or radio, in newspapers, magazines, or on internet. Give me a moment. The light went off. I'm sorry for that. And last, just because someone looks professional, sound like an expert, and or gives you confidence in their real estate knowledge, does not mean that you can or should trust them. Next slide, please. Here's a few more tips. I'm just gonna let you know that if it's something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Next slide, please. The information here is our contact information. This is a public information, public line for the Department of Real Estate. It's 877-373-4542, or you can go on to our website. If you are hiring a real estate agent to assist you with certain real estate services, like selling your home, buying a home, renting a property, and you would need to check if the individual is licensed as a real estate broker or salesperson and properly licensed. And properly licensed means a salesperson has to be currently employed with a broker. So anyone who's not employed, any salesperson who is not employed with a broker cannot engage in license activity. So that's something that you want to take a look at, making sure they are properly licensed. Next slide, please. Just a glance at our website. The main page will show this when you log into it. There's different tabs, different information from essential information, how to check people's license, and then also all the tabs for consumers and other type of information from licensees, examinees, and all the stuff. Next slide, please. If you believe you have been a victim of real estate or mortgage fraud, or have a complaint about a real estate salesperson or broker, then you can file a complaint with the DRE. There's different ways. Like I said, you can file the complaint. Either you can contact us. We'll send you the form. You can complete the form online, or you can complete the form, a complaint form, and mail it into one of the district office that is in your county. Next slide, please. I'm going to go through briefly with some of the resources from our website that will allow you to review more information pertaining to consumer alerts. Next slide, please. So on the tab, it says consumers. You can put your cursor over consumers, and it will have a drop-down arrow with different topics, and one of the topic is consumer alerts. You can click on the article that I just read earlier, which is the DRE urges California consumers to be aware of real estate and mortgage crime. And also there's different consumer alerts, different with written in different year, rental scams and all the stuff, timeshare scam. So you have very different type of articles that you can review, you have any type of similar issues, and you can kind of look at and understand what those preventive measures or these red flags. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is how the page consumer alerts will look like, and we'll have different year 2026 down to 2013 and before that as well. Next slide, please. So this is this is the consumer alert that was reading of the information for you for deed and title fraud. There's some information on it that was covered during my presentation here, and that's something. And then you can also look at other type of tips for avoiding scams, mortgage fraud, business email compromises, and all the stuff. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, there are other valuable resources available on our website, especially for home buyers who's new in this, or even if you've been buying before. There's always tips, there's always information, podcasts that covers from step by step of the process of purchasing a home. Information in here is very valuable. And if there's anyone in here who a tenant or landlord, there's landlord and tenant information as well. So there's information from the consumers that will take you to these resources, and you can review the information. One here it says a guide to residential tenants and landlords' rights and responsibilities. Next slide, please. Okay, I've covered this, which is the information on home buyers and borrowers. Next slide, please. So there's also I guess what we call now is podcast, a video. Have information on top tips, home buying process, step by step. Whatever the information that's part of usually the process of purchasing a home. It has information here, valuable resources, information that you should review and have a better understanding of the procedure and the process. And in closing, I would like to say thank you to all for attending this event today, and be vigilant out there when engaging with someone for who you are hiring for real estate services.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. I do want to quickly talk about some rental scam red flags, and there's been a lot of information passed on to me. This information actually comes from UC Santa Cruz. So here's some red flags from rental scams. Rental, if you see that the rental amount is unusually low, so maybe you're on one of those listing services where you're looking at the different apartments that or homes that are available, and then suddenly you see a very low amount. Again, that's probably a scammer trying to lure people in to contact them. If the landlord or whoever you're calling is unable to show you the rental property in person, right? They make all sorts of excuses. That's a big red flag. Another red flag is if they require advance payment, right? Sometimes they ask for cash, like a cash deposit, or to send gift card information or crypto. Again, big red flag there. And again, usually what the scammer will say is if you contact them about an apartment, it looks like it's a great deal, and the scammer will say, oh, I'm getting a lot of interest. If you give me a deposit, I'll hold it for you. Again, big red flag. Don't transfer any money or give them any money unless you actually see the property in person, you meet the person, and you get some kind of contract written up first, right? The other thing you might notice is errors in the rental ad or the email or other communications that the advertiser is sending to you, right? So address might be wrong, pictures might be wrong, right? Be very wary. You want to do your research there. And then, of course, the classic sign of any kind of scam is urgency. Scammers love to create a sense of urgency. They want to make you move really, really fast. And when you do that, you usually miss out on the red flags that you normally would actually see. So scammers might be saying something like sign now or send a deposit now. So I can hold it for you. Again, slow down. They want you to take your money, and then they're going to ghost you, right? Another big note here, rental listing websites, right? So whether you're using Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or any of those, other listing services out there, they do not verify the legitimacy of their listings, right? And something else we were talking the other day about is sometimes scammers can hijack a listing, right? So maybe Zillow has a property, and a scammer goes and they hijack that listing and they try to list that property. So yeah, there's really no way to verify the legitimacy of a rental property unless you actually meet the person right in front of the property, walk in, do a tour, and they show you that they actually own it and they can actually rent it to you. So be very careful, right? There's a lot of fake rental listings out there. To protect yourself, we've kind of put together a quick list here. These tips comes from the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and there's a link to their website so you can read more. So one of the things they say that you need to do is obviously visit the rental in person, right? Whether it's a home, whether it's apartment, go there in person, meet the actual landlord, property owner, make sure that maybe you get good vibes from them, just the actual person you're renting from, and then of course walk the property before you give any kind of money. Definitely do your research, right? It's something that Anthony talked about. Compare the rental pricing with other nearby rentals. If it's significantly lower, again, that's a big red flag. Check for errors or inconsistencies with the advertisement. Normally, I would say oftentimes scammers will be just publishing as many scam listings as they can, and they're going to make mistakes, right? Whether it's contact information, whether it is, information about the property, right? They're listing a 3-bedroom house for rent when it's actually a 5-bedroom house listed on another website. So do your research, make sure that there's consistent information there. Of course, take your time, right? Don't rush into it. We talked about the fact that scammers love to get you in that sense of urgency. And check the information and reputation of the property owner, right? Again, maybe it is a legitimate listing. However, the landlord or the property owner is actually not someone that you want to do business with for whatever reason. And that's why they keep lowering the price, because they keep churning the tenants, right? So that's a good way to just go ahead and check the information and reputation of that property owner or landlord. And of course, be careful how you pay, right? Again, don't pay in cash or a gift card, wire transfer, or crypto. All these different methodologies of payment are really hard to get back if you end up giving it to the scammer, right? And then another one here, I added this because we always talk about it. Don't share your personal or financial information, right? Maybe if you contact someone, the landlord or the property owner, and they start asking for your personal information beyond your name and your phone number, right? If they're asking for like your email address or other information, personal information, or other financial information, that's a big, big red flag. So don't share that. They don't need it until you actually get an application and you want to actually fill out that information for them. So yeah, here's some pro tips for you for rental scams. I do want to quickly talk about QR codes. Anyone who knows me, I'm not a big fan of QR codes, and this is one of the reasons why. This on the left side screen, what you're going to see is a screen capture it's a Facebook post from the city of Riverside. It was a scam alert. Basically, scammers were using QR code stickers, and so here's the warning: QR code scams, right? It's very hard to know where a QR code what it'll do or where it'll take you until you actually use your phone to shoot the QR code, right? Scammers are placing QR code stickers onto legitimate advertisements. So it could be a sign that says, available for rent or now leasing, or maybe even if it's a for sale sign, scammers will put a QR code sticker there on that for sale sign, and they want you to shoot that QR code, and then it'll take you to some website, right? Or it could take you to a call center, or it could download malicious software onto your phone. So be very careful, right? It's very hard, again, to know what a QR code will do or where it'll take you. For me, I'm just overly cautious. I prefer calling someone in person and then talking to them versus using a QR code. So again, important notification here. Just be careful out there. With that, we are right at our Q&A session. And it looks like we have a lot of great questions. I do want to throw another reminder. If you do have a question, please feel free to submit it into the Zoom's Q&A feature. We will be answering as many questions as we can. So I'm going to go ahead and get started right away. First question, can we get a copy of the presentation slides? Yes. Again, as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will be publishing it to the DFPI's YouTube channel. After the webinar, we will be, again, I'll send a follow-up email, which will include a link to that webinar recording on our YouTube channel, as well as a copy of the slides. So that way you'll have it for you and you could share it with other people. So thank you for the question. Next question, what does title insurance really do and should I get it? It's a good question. Anthony, do you want to answer this? I have my own thoughts on it, but.
First of all, the title insurance and the information that we researched, because from the Department of Real Estate, it is not something that we looked at. But basically, as I mentioned earlier in regards to title insurance, is that during the process of you purchasing the property, it's already included. It's a request and a requirement by the lender. Your title, your loan has to be insured. And it's they check the property to see if there's any type of liens out there. Now, the information, like I said here, is that what we gather is the information that's available as general information. Again, what it is that it's already part of the process. It's even though I mentioned, and let me go back to the screen give me a second now. Well, I'm looking for the information. Q, do you want to cover a little bit what you have?
Yeah. And in fact, Anthony, just tell me, I'm going to help you find that screen. But yes, the Department of Insurance, not the Department of Real Estate or the Department of Financial Protection Innovation. It's the Department of Insurance who regulates title insurance. And yes, Anthony is 100% correct. If you buy a property with a mortgage, not like cash buying, but if you buy a property with a mortgage, usually your mortgage servicer or lender will require you to get title insurance. And again, just like Anthony was saying, that title insurance, what part of it is, they check to make sure that there's no liens or other issues with the title. And that usually in general will help protect you. Now, if you do pay off your mortgage, right, and you get the title from your mortgage lender and you have it and you own the property clean and clear, you may consider getting title insurance. And the reason being is, again, that title insurance will expire usually with the with the mortgage lending service once they finish that out. So what is title insurance? I can't tell you as a whole because every title insurance insurance policy is different, right? They have different coverages amount, but I'm going to tell you in general what most title insurance does when it's part of that mortgage servicing process. And I apologize for a very long explanation. I don't want to get too technical, but it usually protects that mortgage servicer, right, or the mortgage lender. When you get it for yourself, again, the cost could vary. It could be a yearly cost, could be a one-time cost, and there's obviously many places that sell title insurance. So we definitely want you to do your research, make sure it's going to work out for you. But some title insurance will actually protect you. I won't say protect you, but it will help you in the instance of title fraud, right? So what does that mean? That means that, again, if you bought your house clean and clear, paid off the mortgage, you have the title in hand, and you want to buy title insurance, a couple things you want to look for. Number one, you want to look for coverage, title fraud coverage, right? Make sure it covers any kind of title fraud that might happen. And usually what they do is they'll have like a certain dollar amount, right? Like, up to $1 million or $2 million to help you recover from title fraud, because when title fraud happens, you could still claim your property back, get your title back. You have to work with your county assessor. You have to work with usually a judge that has to review all this information, verify your identity, that kind of thing. And it takes a lot of time, and usually there's money, especially if you have to hire a lawyer, and you have to pay fees and stuff like that. That's usually what the title insurance is for. They will cover that cost for you. So again, very high overview. I can't talk about all the different policies out there, but again, reminder is title insurance is overseen by the Department of Insurance, and you could always go there. I think they do have some information on their website talking about title insurance, but that's a great question, and I hope I was able to answer that. Anthony, did you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I want to add to that. You explained it perfectly, and again, it's because our agency don't look at whether or not, because what I'm covering right now is to give you tips about fraud avoidance, tips of avoiding fraud, kind of red flags about whether your title might be defrauded, these information. So the information that I provided is more of that red flag tips avoidance. But what you want to do is contact your look up, to verify with information on the title. You want to look at your lender's title policy and owner's policy, and how you can do that. You can contact the lender, the mortgage servicer for the loan or the title that you have title insurance, and you can request a copy for that. What it is here is that we don't investigate allegations of your titles, there's fraud on it, because it's a crime. And so therefore, if we get complaints regarding that type of allegation, we would refer you to contact the county recorder's office, because that's where it originate. And if you feel that that's something that's happened, you can contact also the district attorney's office. Now, usually the county recorder's office will look into that, and most likely will be contacting the district attorney's office regarding that. So that's what we, unfortunately, it doesn't fall in our jurisdiction, because we can't determine whether or not there was fraud committed on that title. You'll get these information that's part of it once you file a complaint, and then we would refer it out.
Great. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, it's fantastic. Okay, going on to the next question. How will a notification program protect me from title fraud or scam? And I think they're probably referring to SB 255. I think I can answer this one. So again, right now there's only a few counties that offer a program where you, as a property owner, can sign up. And what happens is, if someone tries to claim your title, in fact, if you try to claim your own title, but you signed up previously to be notified of any kind of changes or requests on your title, then you should be notified by phone, mail, email, however your county does it, right? Again, there's a few counties that do it now. I know like Fresno County has one. I know LA County has their own program. Not every county currently has it, but a notification program will, again, once you sign up for it, verify your identity, that you're the legit person that owns a specific title property, with your, of course, your county assessor's office. If anyone, you or scammers or anyone else, tries to make an attempt to change the title or get information on the title, that notification program will notify you and use like email or a phone call and letting you know, hey, verifying, are you asking for this information? Are you asking to change this information? That kind of thing. So the way to protect you is, again, notifying you. If someone is trying to claim your title and it's not you, you can immediately go to your county assessor's office, verify your legitimate information, right, your identity, and then let them know, hey, this is not me, right? This is not me who's trying to take this title, and I don't know who that person is. So hopefully that answers the question. Great question, though. Thank you so much. Next question. How does a scammer do title theft? It could happen in many different ways. Normally, it's a form of identity theft. And again, it's someone posing as you, going to your county assessor's office, and they are, again, trying to claim your title, right? So they go to the county assessor, they show information that may look legitimate. And again, if the county assessor is not on their toes, right? If they're not being overly scrupulous, overly skeptical, they may grant that person the information. It happens, and it can happen in many different ways. But usually, again, it's as simple as someone stealing your mail, right? And now they have some of your bills, maybe you, because the DMV, by the way, mails your what do you call it, your driver's license through the mail. If someone steals your mail and they have your driver's license, they could edit the, change the driver's license, and change it in many different ways. Go to their county assessor's office, use that driver's license to show to pose as you, and then they could try to steal your property, right, or your title. So that's generally what it happens. There's, again, many different ways. Someone getting your information from a data breach, right? Could be mail theft again. So be careful with that. It could be also a scammer calling you and then getting all your personal information and then using your personal information to go to county assessor's office and posing as you, right? So be very careful out there. Great question though. And hopefully that answers that.
I would like to add something to that. And again, as Q explained here, and I myself as well, these are general information because this is what we gather from it. But if you really want to know how to prevent yourself, you can go directly to the county recorder's office because a lot of time the information is available publicly, right? And anyone can access your information. Again, whether or not it's legitimate or not, or they allowed you, that's something that you can contact the county recorder's office. What we noted is that the properties, now we're talking about properties that you own, that are considered high risk, high risk area of deed or title fraud, or basically for properties unoccupied, vacant property or vacant land, high equity homes, vacation properties, homes owned free and clear. These are the properties that are not attended to, right? And nobody's looking at it, right? And so therefore they know fraudsters can see properties are vacant, then they can search the information and then they start using that and then start leasing it out, whatever it is, put on a website. And so these are the ones that are considered more of a high risk area. Properties are within this area or this type of properties. That's just some information, but you have to be mindful. You should be checking your information recorder's office. Not everyone does. I know that. I myself didn't really pay attention until I start doing this presentation. Then, even myself, right? And so there are ways. And I just found out that the law that Q is reading on this, the SB 55 SB 255 is that it's going to be a law that's going to be effective in 2027. But before that, it's just a voluntary participation program for the county. And that's why there's only a handful of counties that are offering that, right? These notifications. So just to protect your information, protect your property, and just be mindful of what information you are providing, and always be wary. Your property is out there. Your information is out there. It's internet, and everyone has it. So you always want to do the best you can to protect yourself with that.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, next question. Does this include title companies regarding license verification? So, Anthony, I know you probably want to answer this. Let me just put a quick thing. Title companies, I'm guessing you're talking about title insurance companies. Anyone selling insurance in the state of California will have to be licensed and regulated by the Department of Insurance. So a title insurance company will need to be licensed by the Department of Insurance. So if you do want to check and make sure that someone who's trying to sell you title insurance, make sure that they're legitimate, you want to go to the Department of Insurance website. I think you'd actually call them too and ask them, is this title insurance company licensed by you, and make sure legitimate. Anthony?
Nothing else to add. You said all the information that's pertinent because this is a different agency for the state of California, and insurance companies are licensed with the Department of Insurance.
Yep. And from the DFPI, we license and regulate mortgage lenders, mortgage servicers, mortgage originators, and if escrow companies. So if you want to make sure that those companies are legitimate, again, any of those organizations that are providing mortgages, they have to be licensed in the state of California. So you would come to us and you would check us out. And the same thing for, like Anthony was saying in his presentations, they license and regulate real estate brokers, real estate agents. And so you want to make sure they are legitimate going through their website. So great question. Thank you so much. Question from Ryan. I was a victim of identity theft some time ago. Could they use my identity to steal my property title? And I think we had talked about this a little bit earlier. The answer is yes. I don't know how long ago the identity theft happened. I also don't know where you live, but yes, they could use your identity to steal your property or your title. So be very careful of that. I would definitely go check your county assessor's office. Hopefully they have some kind of notification program set up and you could sign up for that. That way, again, if someone is showing up to the county assessor's office posing as you, saying that they need their title, you'll get notified and you could stop that from happening. So best of luck, Ryan. Hopefully there's also many other resources on identity theft, and you've done all the good steps. Just a quick plug here, identitytheft.gov, hosted by the Federal Trade Commission, an amazing website. They give you step-by-step process to recover from identity theft if that's happened to you. So Ryan, please take care. Hopefully you're going to be okay. Identitytheft.gov. Okay, next question. Besides stealing your property, what are some other things title thieves can do with your property? I'll answer this and then I'll give you my thoughts and then I'll give it to Anthony. So it's probably not just about stealing your title. What they do is they'll take your title. Now they have ownership of it. They could transfer it to other parties. They could try to sell it. They could take a loan against your property, especially if they have the title in hand. Like Anthony was saying before, usually title thieves try to target those free and clear titles, so there's not a lot of other issues, but or vacant properties or high value properties, so they could try to maximize a loan or something like that. But yeah, once someone has your title, they could do many different things with it, besides just taking ownership of it and try to evict you some way. Anthony, your thoughts?
Now, everything that you said covers from the information the DFPI is providing, and as well as I did earlier. So there's nothing else. I mean, again, those are the typical things that they can do. And one of the things is that they can take out a loan, and unbeknownst to you, because all the bills, all the information is being sent somewhere else, right? They may change that. They might be changing mailing address and all this stuff. So unfortunately, that's something that we hope it doesn't happen to us.
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Anthony. Next question. Are you seeing more scams involving timeshares where someone is offered a sale and instead the scammers buy a new property unknown to the consumer? That's interesting. So a scam involving timeshares where someone is offering a sale and instead the scammers buy a new property unknown to this consumer. This is, to me, this is new. I haven't heard about this yet. Anthony?
Yeah, I haven't heard of it, because for timeshares, fraud regarding timeshare, it's been a while that we've received complaints regarding. It's usually a resale of timeshare. Someone's just trying to trick you to let you know that, well, we can sell your timeshare for you, right? When you know that it's hard, and so far with that topic, we haven't come across that. We haven't come across that at all.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sorry we couldn't give more information, just because, yeah, it's so new. Sounds like have not heard about it. But I'll put it this way: if you do see more information, and if you have more information, feel free to send it our way, right? Submit a complaint to us. And I think you can also submit a complaint to the DRE, and, we'll review it. If it needs to be referred to a agency, whether it's local government, local law enforcement, or even federal government, we do that all the time. So send it to us. If you know of the scam happening, if you have information, maybe someone's soliciting you, feel free to submit it to us, either of our departments. And again, we will refer it to the right place to get you help.
Yeah, whether it's a solicitation or whether it is a you've been victimized, yeah, file the complaint with us. We have to determine of jurisdiction, and a lot of times, depending on whether timeshare is, if it's out of country, I mean, that's something that you probably would have to also contact the FBI. But we don't know without, with limited information. I suggest that if you or know someone or yourself, if you are a victim of this, file the complaint. Let us take a look at it, so that way we have better additional information to determine what it is. We do have information on consumer alerts for timeshare that might have covered a lot of other information that I might not be covering today. You can look at that on our consumer alerts and look through the years, depending on which year it is, and you can just look at the information.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for the information, Anthony. That's great. Okay. Next question. I'm going to move through these a little faster, but if you do have a question, again, a reminder, put it into the Zoom's Q&A feature. We have a little more time left. Happy to answer any questions that come in through. How often does title theft really happen? I see a lot of commercials about title insurance. I honestly could not give you any numbers, but I will say from my own personal experience, when I go out and I do presentations and workshops, I get a lot of questions about title fraud, title scams, title insurance. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this webinar. We've gotten a lot of questions about it that we thought, hey, let's put a webinar together to give people more information, give people a place to go watch and learn a little more. I would say I couldn't give you a straight answer on how often does it happen, but I will say it is a concern that especially with older adults, right? Retirees, seniors who, again, have paid off their homes and hear a lot about title insurance, they're concerned about it. And that's something I see. Anything you want to add, Anthony, here?
No, unfortunately, like I said, if someone filed a complaint with us regarding that the property has someone has taken over the title, it doesn't fall in our jurisdiction, and so we don't see that a lot of those complaints. And even if we did, we will be forwarding it out, or just let you know that it doesn't fall in our jurisdiction. You want to contact the local PD, the district attorney's office, or even the sheriff's department, right? Unfortunately, we don't have any numbers regarding that, and that's something that maybe you want to check with the county recorder's office, given that those titles are recorded through that county.
Yeah, that's a great point, Anthony. Yeah. And in fact, every county is going to be different. And maybe some counties, like LA County, sees a lot of it happening. That might be a reason why they have their own title notification program. So check with your county assessor. And it's a great question. Ask them, hey, how often does this happen? And how can you protect yourself? And hopefully they have a notification program for you. Thank you. It's a great question. Okay. How do we report real estate mailers for attempted scams? An example, fake mortgage offers with instructions. So this is a good question. Short answer, you can actually submit a complaint to the DFPI and go to our website, submit a complaint, give information, especially if you see a lot of that mailing coming through. We, by the way, if they're trying to sell you a mortgage, they're a mortgage lender, they should be licensed by us. And there are scammers, by the way, who pose as your mortgage servicer. So you want to be aware of that too. Go to our website, submit a complaint. We're happy to review the information. The short answer is it's really hard. In fact, I had a webinar a couple of months ago where we had the post office inspector general on, and she was talking about how it's very difficult for them to verify mailers that get sent out, right? To verify whether it's legitimate or not. So you really want to protect yourself, and I'm glad you're able to identify those fake mortgage offers, or those fake letters posing as your mortgage servicer. I would say, again, short answer, just report it to us. We're happy to review it and make sure that they're not sending out fake advertisements or scams.
And from the department's real estate, it is offering mortgage services is a real estate service that requires a real estate license. Like I mentioned before earlier, is that one, whether a broker or salesperson who engages in mortgage activity, residential loans for residential property, even commercial, they will be required to be licensed with the Department of Real Estate. So if you get an advertisement, number one, if you believe that it's some type of scams, then send it to us. File a complaint with us. We don't know whether or not you're being victimized or you're just being offered of a scam. We have to determine whether or not they're licensed or not. So you yourself can verify whether they're licensed with the Department of Real Estate from our website, or even call us, or the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation, because they license California finance lender and mortgage lender, right? And so we have two different agencies here, depending on what it is, what type of license they use, or whether they're unlicensed and then soliciting consumer for real estate services. That's what we need. Even our licensees, they're required to have license information on it. So if they don't have it, that's something that would be a violation of real estate law as well. So you can always, like I said, check with us, and we will determine whether or not you should file a complaint.
Great. And thank you, Anthony. That's very good. Okay, next question. If I own my home outright, does the title insurance fall off? So every policy is going to be different. And I can't answer that for sure. But what I would say is, again, if you own your home outright, if you remember what your original policy, if you have the original paperwork from purchasing your home, it may list you as the policy holder. It may list your mortgage lender as the policy holder. So you might be protected if you're the policy holder, and that insurance policy, it's a one-time payment that you made, and it's going to cover you into perpetuity, or you want to check your policy, basically speaking. Make sure that it doesn't expire at a certain amount of time, as well as, again, you're listed as a policy holder. You are correct in the sense that if you pay off your mortgage and the title transfers to you, if the policy is in your mortgage lender's name, that policy would expire, right? Oftentimes, not oftentimes, I would say sometimes the title insurance company might actually contact you, and they'll say, hey, your title insurance will expire with the transferring the policy holder. Do you want to continue? There's a certain amount, right? So yeah, check your policy, make sure it doesn't expire, as well as you're the policy holder. So great question. Thank you, Karen. Big shout out to you. I've seen you at many of our webinars. Thank you so much. And last question here, is the title better protected if it is under a living trust versus the actual names of the owners? So again, I'm not a lawyer here, but I've talked to a lawyer who does what do you call it? They do estate planning as well as living trust and wills and that kind of thing. I want to give you a short answer, but there's also a lot of caveat here. And I want you to do a little more research to make sure. But from my understanding, a living trust would better protect someone, if the title, if the property is in a living trust, it will be more protected, because a living trust, what happens is the owner information is not publicly available. It only names like the trust information. So the title is, again, in the trust, and it's a little bit harder for scammers to pose as the trust, right? Like, not saying it's 100% proof, but I do agree that it could be better protected if it is in a living trust. So yeah, if I do encourage you to do more research. I couldn't answer this completely, but I do agree that it probably will be more protected versus just having it in someone's name. Okay, and that is the end of our questions. Thank you so much. This has been a great audience. You've given a lot of great questions. I do have just a quick couple of last minute slides. The DFPI, we need your help, right? If we've been able to help you through one of our presentations, if you've submitted a complaint and we were able to help you, we want to know your experience, and we want to share your experience with others so that they can know that we're out there and we can help them. So if you do have any kind of story, any kind of way to let us know that we helped you, submit it to us. My team's email address is right there, outreach@dfpi.ca.gov. Email us, let us know how we helped you, and we'll hopefully be able to share your story with others. Okay, and final reminder, next month's webinar is protecting yourself from student loan scams. There's a lot of things happening in the student loan universe. So we're going to have our student loan servicing OBUDS person on. She's Selena Damon. She's amazing. She's going to be able to answer your questions as well as share some other information and also talk about how to protect you from all the different student loan scams out there. That's on July 8th at 1 p.m. Register for the webinar. There's the link to it. Also, a reminder, subscribe to DDFPI's newsletter and our YouTube channel if you can. And with that, I want to give a big special thank you to Anthony from the Department of Real Estate for coming on and sharing a lot of great information. I also want to say thank you to you for joining. I know it's Wednesday afternoon. You could be many different places, but you're here. And so big thank you. With that, please take care of yourself and each other. Have a great day.